What's up, everybody? It's Ahmed with A. Roberson Photo, A. Roberson Media, and today I'm going to talk about my 3 favorite lenses and why they're so sweet. But before we get to the intro, I just want to let you know, if you stick around to the end of this video, I have a short disclaimer that I want to talk about something that's on my mind. It's not a bad thing, and it's not going to be long. It's really short, but I just want to let you know what's on my mind. So if you stick around after the end credits, we'll talk about it. What's up, everybody? It's Ahmed, and I'm here to talk about one of my greatest skill sets, photography, and my 3 favorite lenses that I like to use and why I think they're so sweet. When I first got into photography, like most people, I would shoot anything that moved or didn't move. I got me a point and shoot camera, took a couple of snapshots of some flowers, some bees, some birds. I mean, literally anything that I could see that had some color to it, I would take a photo because I thought I'm a professional photographer. I got a camera, it takes good pictures, I can see the color, I can see the light, it must be sweet. Yeah, that didn't start my career off too well. I joined a couple of photography forums. They ripped me a new one and told me that my stuff was not up to par, that it wasn't as good as I thought it was. But because I thought it was that good, I'm like, man, you don't know what you're talking about, so on and so forth. And once I started to realize that the whole forum was like, nah, bruh, it's not working, I went back to the lab, started doing some more studying, and here I am nearly 15 years later with, I'd say, a pretty good career. You know, I can't lie. I don't really like to brag on myself too much, but I think I've had a pretty good career with my photography, so I'm pretty happy about that. But anyway, let me get back to the point. The point is, in my photography, throughout my journey, I've learned what lenses what lenses work good, what cameras work good, so on and so forth, what made me better as an artist, what assets could I use to bring my vision to life the way I saw it in my head. And I've landed on a couple of lenses, some prime lenses, fixed focal length prime lenses with oftentimes greater apertures. And I've got some zoom lenses too that are actually quite good. Some people tend to think if you're a professional, you don't use zoom lenses, but I don't think that's true. I've seen excellent photography taken with a kit lens that comes with Nikon cameras. Sometimes Nikon cameras come with 18 to 55 millimeter variable, f2.8 to f3.5 to f5.6 type lens, and that's a pretty cheap $100 kit lens that most people might frown upon. But like I've said, I've seen some excellent photos taken with those lenses. But as my career developed, I realized I needed some prime lenses with wide open apertures like f1.8 and f1.4. Not sure if I have an f1.4. I might. I got so many lenses, it's hard to keep up sometimes. But today I'm going to talk about 3 lenses of mine, 2 prime lenses. One is a f1.8, one is a f2.8, and one is an actual f4 lens. But it's not an f4 prime, it's an f4 zoom. So it starts off at f4, but it only goes up to, I want to say, f6.3 maybe, or even f5.6, and then it can maintain f5.6 throughout the focal length, even though the focal length is short, but still it's not a prime. But anyway, the first on my list of my favorite lenses is this puppy. And you may have seen it when I did my What's in My Camera Bag video, and that is the Nikon 35mm f1.8. This bad boy is sweet. This is a great lens, and I've used this lens for product photography, child photography, and portrait work. This lens is awesome for that, especially being an f1.8. A lot of the portrait work that I like to do, which a lot of people do, or some people have discovered recently, even though it's been around forever, is a lot of people like to have a bokeh effect in their portraits. A lot of people are doing that with videography now, using DSLRs to have the bokeh effect behind them. Me, I still like to use camcorders. I don't necessarily care about the bokeh effect in my video, but in my photography, my portrait work, absolutely. And with an f1.8 lens, it gives me that flexibility to do so. When I shoot with my f1.8 lens, I've done some studio work with it, but when I have to do natural light work with the f1.8, it's absolutely perfect because the window light coming in, oftentimes if you do it right, you get that soft bounce window light, maybe bouncing off another building that's next to your window, and then you open your lens up to f1.8, you get to take a sweet, beautiful, soft portrait where the eyes are in focus like you need them to be, but it starts to taper off when you get to the hair, the ears, and so on and so forth. It makes for a beautiful, beautiful portrait. And that's one of the main, well, that's pretty much the main reason why I like this f1.8 lens, because at f1.8 it's still sharp, gives you a nice, beautiful bokeh. But if you stop it down to f6, f or f5.6 or even f8, it is extremely sharp and exceptionally crisp for product photography. The next lens up on my list of favorites is my Tokima 12mm to 24mm f4. This is a variable lens. It's not a prime lens where it's going to hold its aperture at f4 all the way throughout the focal length. It will increase from f4 to f5.6, I want to say, but it is a 12 to 24mm lens, and 12mm is pretty much considered ultra wide. Ultra wide lens, people often tend to use this lens for landscape photography, but I tried a little landscape photography when I first got into the game, but that was because I was just trying to find what I like to shoot. But I also discovered when you do portraits with an with a 12mm ultra wide lens, it completely distorts your image, but it can be artistically distorted if you do it the right way. And I say artistically distorted because sometimes I will shoot artists, rappers, singers, comedians, or whatever, and I tend to like to use the Tokima f1 or f4 12mm because what happens is if you shoot at 12mm, you're going to get really close. It almost has a fisheye effect, but this is not a fisheye lens. But instead, what it does is it elongates body parts. So I've done a portrait of a young lady once, and it looked like she was 10 feet tall because I was really close to her at ultra wide 12mm, and it distorted her body parts to make her look different, but not in a bad way. I mean, kind of weird, but artistically weird, I guess. I mean, some people like it, some people hate it, but art is subjective anyway, so what one person loves, another person may hate. But anyway, when I shoot artists with this lens, they tend to like it. They tend to love it because of the distortion that it creates, and it gives a surreal look to them, to their image, and they can take that and flip that into, comedians come to my comedy special, it's really trippy, or an artist, a rapper, make them look really, really tall, make them look really, really big time next to the when projected on the screen. It's really cool. It has a really cool effect, and I like it for that. And that is the main reason why I bought it. If I go hiking, I'll take the lens with me, to take some wide angle angle shots of a beautiful landscape instead of taking multiple shots and doing stitching it together in a panoramic. I can actually set this at 24mm and shoot ultra wide. And even if I zoom all the way to 24mm, it's still not that wide at 24mm. So that is just my go-to ultra wide lens at all times. And then lastly, my ultra favorite is, and you may have seen this in another video, is my Sigma 150mm f2.8 prime lens. This bad boy right here is everything. This is life. This lens right here, I use this lens for portrait work. I use it for product photography. That's where my career has led me, into product photography. I don't do much portrait work anymore, but when I do, I think I did a magazine cover with this lens. I believe it was this lens that I had on there. At f2.8, it's a pretty fast lens, so this served this purpose exactly how I needed it to. This lens did everything. This lens is life. But when I do portraits or headshots with this lens, because it's a f2.8 fixed lens at 150mm, the headshots that I do, I've even impressed myself with some of the headshots that I've done. And for me, I think my photography is good when I take a picture and years later I go back and look at the same photo and I'm still impressed with the photo as I was the day that I took it. And one of the portraits that I took with this lens is my favorite, and when I took it, I knew it was a sweet spot. I mean, we pretty much ended the photo session after I took that portrait because I knew I couldn't get any better. This lens here allows me to do that because of the glass that's inside, the f2.8 fixed focal range, plus the distance at 150 millimeters. Everything is pretty much like a true to life perspective. I know they say 35 millimeters is the industry standard for real life focal length, but when you're doing artistic portraits, especially if you want to blur the background and have that bokeh effect, or if you want to make them extra crisp and extra sharp for product photography, this is going to give you a true to life vision, a real portrait, a true to life portrait of what you're actually taking a photo of. And because it is a f2.8 fixed millimeter prime lens, you're going to get a 1-to-1 ratio out of it, or actually this is 1.1. Yeah, it's a 1-to-1 ratio out of it. So whatever's showing in this lens is going to show up, is going to hit the sensor at the true to life size, and it's going to give you an accurate portrait. So this, and this. These are my favorite lenses for my DX crop camera. I still shoot with a Nikon D300 digital crop sensor, and I do still shoot with my Nikon D700. It's an older camera, but it's a full frame camera, and I have a list of 3, maybe even 4 of my favorite lenses for that particular camera, and I'll get to those in another video. But for now, this is Ahmed with A. Roberson Photo, A. Roberson Media, and I'll see you next time. Hey everybody, thanks for sticking around. I just wanted to talk about something really quickly. In my videos, I'm always talking about how my videos suck, telling me that my lighting sucks, telling me how much I suck, and that you're gonna laugh at my videos and crack jokes. And I've received nothing but positive feedback from everybody. So I again want to say I am sincerely thankful for you guys. You're very encouraging to motivate me and keep me going in the right direction with my videography or my vlog or whatever you want to call it. You know, my YouTube channel. I'm trying to make it as best as I can. I received I got a comment on one of my photos, and someone suggested that, you know, that they like the photos that I'm doing and I'm doing good work and they see my progression, but they also said that I shouldn't say that my videos suck and that most people on YouTube are amateurs and they're growing as they go along just as I am. And my reply to him was that, and it was a good comment, and I took no offense whatsoever. It was actually positive and it was encouraging to me. But my reply to him was, when I apologize, it's a half apology because I'm poking fun at myself because, you know, when I first started this, I wasn't taking it too serious, and then I got comfortable with it, and I'm getting better as I go. I know I'm getting better because I study like a madman, and I'm always trying to upgrade my video presence, my video editing, my video production as a whole. But the reason why I would get on myself and say that my videos suck is because, like I said in the beginning of this video, I've actually made a good career out of photography, and the transition from photography to videography wasn't so smooth initially, and I'm still not at that sweet spot yet. But if you look at the progression of my videos and you see, whoo, man, when I first started, and again, I laugh at myself. I'm not fake laughing. I really laugh at myself. It's like, what were you thinking, man? But again, I'm poking fun at myself because my photography career was pretty streamlined. I got into it, I got focused on it, and I was there, and I've made a living off of it. My video, I'm not necessarily trying to make a full-on living off of it as I do with my photography, but who knows? Either way, whether I do make a full living off my video or not, I want to get my video production good, up to the standard, at least close to how my photography is. And again, please, that's not me bragging about my photography like I'm the greatest, because all I do is study people that are better than me because it motivates me to get better. And that's the same thing that I do with these YouTube videos. I study people's videos like there's no tomorrow, because I want my channel to grow and get better, and my production value to grow and get better as I go. So when I was poking fun, I don't do it anymore, but when I was poking fun at my videos about how much they suck and they suck and they suck, I know I did it a lot, but that's because I was mad at myself, like, man, how come I can't figure this out? How come I can't get this right? And now I'm at a comfortable spot. I'm no longer embarrassed when I look at my old videos and I'm like, man, come on, man, for real? Now I'm looking at my videos like, I can see the progression, because if I did a little short timeline flicker of where I started to where I am now, it is a huge increase. And we're only talking about maybe a 3-month span. Maybe. I haven't really paid attention to how long I've been trying to do this, or taking it seriously rather, because I think I started a channel in 2016, but I didn't do nothing. I just had it because everybody else had it. But to actually create content now that's actually getting views and people are commenting on it and looking at it and coming back to see what I produce next, lets me know that I'm doing a pretty good thing here. But again, I just wanted to say that that comment that I got, it is absolutely appreciated, and I took it to heart in the right way because it was encouraging. But I'm just saying this to say, when I say that they suck, I'm poking fun at myself, because it's like, man, get your head out your butt and focus, get it right, get it up to par, because I want my video production to be at least somewhere in proximity of my photography. So that way, if somebody's looking at my photography on my website and then they see my video, I don't want them to be like, oh, this is cool, what the hell is this? You know, I don't want that. You know, I want them to be like, okay, this is cool. Yeah, he's not a full-on video expert, but I can see his growth. I can see him. He's in there. I want to be in there. I'm trying to get in there. So to the gentleman, I'm not going to put his information out here, but to the gentleman that left me that comment with the encouraging words, sincerely, to the heart. I take it to the heart, and I appreciate it so much. And I'm glad you recognize my growth, and I'm glad you came back to check me out. So, yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully you'll think it's getting better as I think they're getting better.